What's cracking, people? Angelic Mayhem here, and welcome to State of the Beta. This is The Long Dark, a game which popped up on Steam, I want to say maybe like 3 or 4 days ago. As you can see in the upper left-hand corner, this is actually the alpha version of the game, alright? So I'm going to try to be as forgiving as is possible for me. However, I do want to point out that a lot of the numbers in this game are not really where they should be. All right, so it's a little touch and go, and in order for you to decide whether you want to pick up this game or not this early, I'm just going to take you through what is finally my most successful gameplay. This game is basically you are a bush pilot. You crash land in the middle of nowhere. It is wintertime, and you have to survive. You have nothing but the clothes on your back and a handful of medical supplies, and you have to, go about, finding shelter and food and so on and so forth. All right. I've spoken to a couple of people about this game. They have raved about this game, saying that it is as close to reality as you could expect. Now, I actually have some training in surviving out in the wilderness. All right. So I know a few things about this that, when I'm playing the game, I find to be a little troublesome because they're, the normal stuff that you would not want to do, you can do in this game. All right. So that part's a little weird, but, I'll kind of point that stuff out as we go along. All right. So here we go. The story mode is locked at the moment. It's going to be an episodic thing from what I understand. You can see here it says episode number 1. You can actually play the sandbox, and so you have a choice between male and female. I'm not going to get into that because I actually have a game going. There is no save game. I know it says load here, but the reason why is because when you quit, it does an auto save, and then you can reload that, where you were when you come back. If you start a new game, then all that gets wiped out. So I obviously don't want to do that. Options menu is pretty barren. The audio, I turned all these down, but then every now and then the audio kicks in, so I don't know, it's an alpha, so, these sorts of things happen. So I apologize if, there's some talking over top of me. Key binding, controls, all that's real good. Display, everything was working real nice, and they actually have a lot of good options in here. So at least on the back end, there seems to be a lot of good stuff. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to load. It tells you where you are at all times, especially if you step outside. Except I'm not outside, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so spoiler alert, I've been playing for 10 days, okay? So I actually have found what I consider to be the second best place in the game and have turned it into my home. So I'm living in what is a ranger lookout, and so basically when it's not storming outside, you can see all the way around, 360 degrees, and that's nice. When you first get here, there's going to be a series of things that you find. It takes a long time to get here. You actually spawn, originally you spawn in a random place. And then, like I said, I've been playing this for a couple days and there have been a couple patches. And now you always spawn inside of a cave. No matter what time of day you spawn, and it's random, okay? So even if it's midnight, start walking, all right? Do not stay in the cave, even though common knowledge and common sense would tell you that you do not want to be wandering around the woods in the middle of the night. But this game is all about exploration and moving and trying to find your place of shelter, okay? All of these bottles here, they are generated, as we go along and we create water. You create water by going here to the stove. You have to add a log, which is your fuel. Accelerant, like it says, is optional, so you don't have to use up your accelerant unless you're absolutely desperate to make sure that you get a fire right now, which sometimes happens because one of the other things in the game, and this is the menu that you're going to be, absolutely obsessed with, is that on occasion you will be starving to death and you will also be incredibly thirsty. If you have to melt down snow right now because you're dying of thirst, you're going to need to use an accelerant, all right? So there's all kinds of stuff like that in the game, and if we go over here to equipment, obviously I've got a lot of my stuff in groups on the floor here, because you can't actually put anything on a table. You can put things in drawers, but I don't have any drawers here. So I just have stuff randomly dropped off. But anyway, so you have clothing, which as you find new clothing, you can put on the new clothing. First aid stuff, which you should keep a little bit on you at all times, just in case you're out wandering about and you get attacked by a wolf. Food and drink, very heavy. So as you're wandering about, you want as little water as you can carry with you, but enough that you have at least, like, let's say 0.25 of a gallon, a quarter of a gallon. And then, like my water purification tablets, they don't weigh anything. They only weigh like a little bit, so I'm not concerned about that. Material. So newsprint you can actually turn into these little things that are used in the fireplace. And scrap metal is used to actually repair some of your stuff. Now, let's talk about that for a second. They have things like can openers and axes. This is the worst part of the game at the moment, all right? So when you pick up a can opener, you can open about 8 cans with it, and then it explodes and is worthless to you, all right? Or you can repair it as you go along, because in addition to being a bush pilot, you also happen to be, apparently, a blacksmith. And you don't actually need heat in order to apply old metal to your can opener. You can just do that with your bare hands because you're made of magic. So, I mean, these are the kinds of things where, if I pick up a hatchet, I should be able to go out into the wilderness and chop up trees and bring them back, okay? Not chop down a tree. You can't use a hatchet for that, all right? But you can use a hatchet to strip off branches, and then you can shove your branches into this fireplace and have it go for more than an hour, all right? That's how this game should be. At the moment, it is not like that, so it's bumming me out. But, because of stuff like that, a lot of this game is about just constantly going out, getting food, coming back, going out, finding wood, coming back. And it's a very big chore. Now, I'm not saying it should be fun trying to survive in the wilderness, but at the same time, some of this stuff is really bonkers. Okay, so I'll get into some more of that in a little bit. Capacity, if you become exhausted, this drops to 33, at which point if you're carrying a lot of stuff, then you begin to drag along, all right? So you have to make sure that that your fatigue bar doesn't get all the way out here, otherwise you're going to be in some serious trouble. Tools, there's all kinds of stuff that you can use. Sewing kit will allow you to repair your clothing and make it better, and obviously the more you repair your clothing, the more it will protect you from the cold, which is very important, because that's basically what this whole game is about. It's about you are going to be outside in what is, unpleasant temperatures. Let's put it that way. There's a bedroll that you can take with you. I 100% would not recommend taking the bedroll with you. It is a waste. If you put it on the ground, you're just basically freezing to death out here, and it does nothing for you. So anyway, here we are. We're outside. Again, we're on top of this mountain. Now, the reason why I said that this was the number 2 spot to have is because in order to get here, you have to climb the mountain, and that is a huge pain. So there actually is another house, and we're going to head in that direction anyway. So I'm not sure if I should show you or not, but we'll see. We'll see how close we get when we get there. You see that there's a lake down there. The lake is surrounded by cabins, and each of the cabins has all kinds of like candy bars and things like that that have been randomly placed in it, and you can pick those up and use them. One of the things, this is an alpha, so you can clip through certain objects, right? Also, you can't jump or climb, which you would think, being stuck in the wilderness, that you should be able to climb places, but that's not in the cards. You also can't, let's say, chop up this fence and use it as kindling, as you might expect would make perfect sense. You also can't use this dead tree, which is literally a log waiting to be taken down with a hatchet, but you can't do anything with it. If you find a wolf, there's no way to kill him unless you find that... Wait a minute. I need to make sure that I have my... tools? My pry bar. Okay, I'm good. Because the place where I'm going to take now is requires a pry bar. I forget what I was saying. Okay. So anyway. Oh, yeah. If you find a wolf, you're basically going to be in a hand-to-hand combat situation. You're going to lose 30 of your health. These are bodies that are just randomly placed about. I don't know how many people actually die in the wilderness every year, but they appear to all die here. And this is it. You find these different areas. It says clear cut. The map is not available in the alpha. Neither is the snow shelter. Keep that in mind, because obviously snow shelter is one of those things that you would normally like to have when you're outside freezing to death. Again, you're going to spawn inside of a cave. And you know, your mind says, well, I can't be wandering about hoping to bump into something. But that's not what this game is about. This game is about bumping into things. Damn it, there's a wolf. That's all I need. Ugh. This is my flare. This thing is probably worthless to me. Let's hope he just passes by. And so a lot of the common sense... You bastard. Come here. Bang, bang, bang. Alright. So technically I scared him away. And we are now injured. We're bleeding. So we have to go to equipment. First aid. Bandage. Use. Boom. Alright. So now we also need antiseptic. Equipment. Antiseptic. Use. Alright. You'll notice his footprints stay in the thing there. That is one of the cooler parts of the game, although they won't go away if it starts snowing. So, you know, that's a little weird, but that's okay. I guess the amount of reality that you can expect from a video game is limited. Now, one of the good things about wolves is that every now and then they'll take down a deer, and that is your primary source of food. Now, since we have a long trek ahead of us, let's talk about food, all right? The numbers in this game in terms of calories are completely bonkers, all right? I disagree with them 100%. I disagree with the calorie thing in general in real life, but I'm not going to get into that here. But except to say that the number of calories that you eat is not the same as whether you are starving to death. And that's just basically, it's basic science, all right? And I'm not going to get into the details because that will bore many of you, but that's the truth, all right? This game has decided that calories are everything. So in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see is my calorie count, and clearly I'm very hungry. If I go into equipment and food, I should have no food. Oh, food and drink, right. I have no food. I do have water, though, so I'm going to do that now. Drink. There's more water where I'm going, so I'll just move on. All these trees are worthless to me, so we just keep on going. Somewhere around here, oh yeah, so here's the mining camp. All of those are also have stuff in them. You can't walk sideways for too long or you sprain your ankle. So the food thing is really problematic because, you know, I spent, in one day, I actually, you know, like kept track of what I ate for 24 hours. I ate 14 pounds of meat in order to be able to function. Now, any human being who, you know, actually ate 14 pounds of meat would be dead in the road, you know, 3 days from now from the biggest hemorrhoid that anybody's ever heard of, all right? That's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. So, I mean, obviously, you know, if you go to Burger King and you sit down and you have a quarter pounder, that's a quarter pound of meat. To eat 40 quarter pounders in a single day is absurd. So that part of the game is something that needs to be fixed. So, again, it's an alpha, so I'm trying to remain, you know, like optimistic that they'll iron out those numbers and make it a little bit better. But at the moment, it's, you know, kind of a pain because if you have to keep running back out to find a dead deer every 3 minutes with a hunting knife that is degrading en masse every time you do, then, you know, I mean, it becomes very, I don't know, boring or, you know, just annoying. The game is becoming annoying the longer you play it. I mean, at first it's a lot of fun because there's a little bit of exploration, and there's a little bit, and then you're, you know, worried about wolves, and you don't know if you have everything, and you're wolfing down candy bars like a lunatic. Not that diabetes plays into this at all. But then after, you know, like I'm on day 10, you know, it's like, how many deer do I have to, you know? Now, I did discover this the other day. This is a dam. And this is going to be one of the more advanced stuff that they're looking to bring into the game. Now, obviously, you know, this dam is kind of here for show. But we're going to go in. Now, last time I was here, I actually filled up on so many things that I couldn't carry them all. So now we go into the locker, and I can take all the things. All. Boom. Now I still have a little bit of weight that I can carry. Some of these lockers require a crowbar, and I did not have my pry bar with me. Ah. I'm forced to open the lock. And my pry bar is down to 19%. Alright, leather. And this is how everything is. So when you find a box on the ground, it says searching, and then it's basically doing the random number generator thing over and over again to see if you picked anything up. Antibiotics, which is nice because I think I just used those. That's it. Alright, so no gun for me. Somewhere out here in the world, there is a rifle because I have the bullets for the rifle. I just don't have the rifle. And also, it appears on the main menu screen. But when you come in here, like, all this is searchable and there's all kinds of, like, stuff. I don't know how to open that safe. I'm assuming that somewhere in this building is instructions. If you hit control, you can stoop down like this and look under things. Which is convenient. But somewhere in here should be instructions for the safe. I just have no idea where to look for them. You can actually, I'm not going to do it, but you can actually go out into there and walk around for a little bit. Which again, it's just kind of a demo thing to show you that there will be amazing things in this game when it finally comes out, but right now they just have this one here to kind of show you. Alright, so with that being said, what else can we expect from this game? Well, what they're promising to us is an opportunity to meet NPCs along the way, and then you can actually partner up with them or decide to murder them and take all their crap. All right, and it's kind of this, what would you do to survive sort of situation. So that part I'm kind of looking forward to, and I will be playing this game a little bit in the future. I'm gonna wait about a month or so and see like how it turns out. But other than that, the last thing I'm going to comment on is this forage wood thing. I mean, harvest just allows you to rip things apart, and then repair allows you to use the things that you ripped apart to repair the stuff that you didn't rip apart. Forage for wood is broken. I would tell you that it's much better just to wander about finding wood on the ground, because I use this on a regular basis, especially with a hatchet. Don't even bother wasting your hatchet on forage wood. It just is it's a pipe dream. You're not actually going to get any sort of benefit out of it. If you are going to forage for wood, you have the opportunity to actually increase the number of hours that you search for wood. Now you can see that you spend a tremendous amount of calories to do that, but this is attached to a random number generator, and the random number generator decides whether you find any wood at all for 1 hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, however long you decide to go for. So mathematically speaking, it's better to go for 1 hour, have it roll the random number generator, and then if you're unlucky, go for another hour. If you go for a full 6 hours and you're unlucky, now you just wasted 6 hours and 1,800 calories and you got nothing out of it. So that's kind of how I feel about the wood thing. And hopefully, again, this will be something that they fix after they're done with the alpha. But with all that being said, I have played this game for 8 hours, and I can see its potential. I'm just hoping that they fix some of these number things so that we can get a good idea of what the game is really going to be like. But hopefully, this look at The Long Dark will help you decide if you want to buy it now, wait a little bit, or wait till it comes out. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this in the future. I'm Angelic Mayhem, and I'll see you next time.